Today I'm going to be breaking down Sweet Love by Burna Boy. I'll be talking you through the various production elements, the lyrical themes, and some of the things that you might have missed on first listen. So whether you are an avid fan, maybe you're an up-and-coming artist or producer, or you're just a music geek like me, this video is definitely for you. Alright, you know the sketch, headphones on, let's get into some new music. Horns, fire, both sets, bang, and the bass bangs as well.
I can shield your heart from danger.
Keys,
Want to be more than just a stranger.
fire,
And if the stars align in my favor,
those backing vocals as well.
then every night you and I stick good day. I want to give you love, sweet, sweet love. I don't wanna make no mistake. Got to get it right every time.
Boom.
On my mind, I seen it not the skies and I feel it not the air. Feel my body.
Okay, right, this is absolute fire. Now, we're going to stop it there because we have listened to the first section of this track. So, let's talk about some of the shifts, changes, lyrical themes, all of that sort of stuff. And then we'll go ahead and we'll get into the second section. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to take a little bit more of a deeper dive into the lyrical themes. Now, why would we want to do this? Well, the main reason being is because once we understand the emotional blueprint, we can stop just hearing the track and we can begin to feel the intention behind it. But also what it does is it helps us to better understand why certain production choices hit the way that they do. So, at its core, this track is about protecting what matters, it's about getting love right, but it's also about holding space for somebody without trying to control them. And I've got some of the lyrics written down here. So you can hear this in lines like, I can shield your heart from danger, want to be more than just a stranger, or so I play my part to make sure we survive it. And then of course we've got the chorus, so I want to give you love, sweet, sweet love. I don't want to make no mistake. Got to get it right every time. Now, these are not just sweet nothings. They are about intentional love. This is more than just surface level romance. This, my friends, is what we call grown man love. It's steady, intentional, and filled with emotional clarity. Now, in terms of the production side of things, this track is absolute fire. And I'm not going to lie, I had to seriously restrain myself from waffling on for hours about why it bangs. But let's look at some of the core elements. So, firstly, clearly reggae inspired. And this is something that I actually admire about Burna Boy as well as other artists in the field. And it's the fact that they're not afraid to diversify. Now, if you are an up-and-coming artist or a producer, you definitely want to make note of this because this is a key factor to longevity. Backing vocals. So why kick off with these first out of everything that is going on with the track? Why start here? And it's because they are pivotal. They're not just floating around in the mix, which is why you hear them so often, because they are central to the track's emotional tone. First, they start off with a call and response feel, and you can hear this particularly around the chorus. You'll notice that they come in before Burna Boy even hits his first line. And what they're essentially doing is setting him up for when he does come in. Now, when he does come in, you'll notice that they shift to these rhythmic oohs, bringing warmth, depth, and intimacy to that hook. Now, that contrast between setup and support, yes, it's subtle, but it makes the chorus feel much more human, much more soulful. And even throughout the song, even when they're not tied to a lyric, they still show up, just kind of floating away in the background like a lovely warm vocal blanket. Now, they don't command attention, but they do make a massive difference in how the track feels. Horns, what a banging sound to be bringing into the mix. But again, why pick these? The reason being is because they're doing more than just one job. So firstly, they're creating rhythm, especially when they come in short, sharp bursts, but they're also bringing warmth and mood to the track. And if you want a clear and obvious example of this, then just go ahead, listen to the chorus, because you'll be able to hear it immediately. Now, for me, the real standout moments come in verse 1 and verse 3. So in verse 1, they hit on the line, "I can shield your heart from danger." And what they're doing here is they're punctuating that lyric. So think of it like they're reaffirming the promise that Burna Boy is making. They're just doing it through sound rather than through words. Fast forward to verse 3, and this is where they get even smarter, because they are literally mirroring Burna Boy's vocal rhythm. So they go from bold and declarative in verse 1 to something a little bit more intimate and emotionally synced in verse 3. So we have the same instrument, but just a different role. And that's what makes them so powerful. Okay, so that is it for the analysis, and I'm going to be honest with you, there isn't any other analysis to provide, because there isn't too much that shifts and changes, at least where it deserves a dedicated section. Where these subtle things do happen, I will pause it and point them out, but outside of that, we're just going to go ahead and see the rest of the track out. Let's do it.
Been on my mind.
Right, second verse. Backing vocals, fire.
Let my mind go drifting. Hold me in your arms tonight and don't leave me, 'cause I won't let go. Hope that at the end of the night they're leaving with me anywhere that you want.
Okay, right, before we do jump into this second chorus, one thing just very quickly to point out. What you'll notice, and you'll have to go back and listen to it, but within this second verse, yes, the backing vocals and the trumpets are present, but they're not anywhere near as present in this second verse than what they were in the first verse. So again, that's just a small observation, but something that they've intentionally done just to keep the track shifting and moving. We'll just go back a couple so that we can hit the chorus from fresh.
'Cause I won't let go. Hope that at the end of the night they're leaving with me.
Trumpets fire, bro.
I want to give you love.
There's those rhythmic oohs I was talking about earlier.
Sweet, sweet love. I don't wanna make no mistake. Got to get it right every time. So I play my part to make sure that we serve.
Okay, right, I definitely am stopping it here, because this section right here, this is absolute fire. This is the part that I was talking about with the horns, right? We're in the third verse. Listen to how they literally mirror Burna Boy's vocal rhythm. This absolutely bangs, right? Just listen to this.
I don't wanna make no mistake.
Right, listen, coming in.
Got to get it right every time.
Right, here we go, listen to this.
So I play my part to make sure that we survive it.
Fire, mate.
I'm giving you all
Bang.
my affection and time and all my love. Ooh. And I don't wanna act like I don't know. Feel like fire.
Now they're in again.
Desire. Need you
Bangs. And here as well, within this latter section of the verse, listen to how full it is, right? Because those trumpets, man, they are right up here, but also those backing vocals are really present here. So this back end of this third verse is super full, right? Let's just go back just a few, man, because it is fire, bro. Do you know what? I'm almost, like, not in a bad way, but like I don't know, I'm almost disappointed that we have to have it in the third verse, and we couldn't get it in the first verse. But structurally, you know, in terms of composition, it makes sense to do it this way. But yeah, just saying. Listen to how full it is, right? And it's going to get fuller. Here. And you know what they've done here? Sorry, I'm actually pausing it more than what I thought I was going to do. But you know what they've done here? So you remember I was talking about how in the chorus, right, you get the backing vocals hit first before Burna Boy comes in with his line. Watch what they've done here, right? They've actually replaced that opening line originally provided by the backing vocals with the trumpet. And it's perfect because people use trumpets like that all the time. Right, let's just go back just a couple, right? Just so we can get into the chorus and you can hear how that trumpet replaces that line. Ready? Right, listen to the chorus. Trumpet. Now Burna's in. Trumpet. Bangs.
I want to give you love. Sweet, sweet love.
Yeah, those keys. Outro now as well. Bangs, mate. Definitely bangs. Okay, that's it for me. If you enjoyed this breakdown, then you will definitely enjoy the ones that are popping up right now. Click on the screen, save them for later. Either way, they are worth the watch. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.